always tend to do my 1 a.m. live streams. This time starting 1:20. A little bit late. I was at a Masonic meeting and then I got back later than I thought I would. However, I'm here now. So let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. And please let me know what you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral? Scruffy, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Let me know how you're doing at this wonderful 1 a.m. morning. Or I don't know if it's 1 p.m. where you are or what time it is for you, but welcome. Dream Seeker, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're still good for Friday at 8 a.m. I've got your commemorative postcard to give to you. Still looking forward to seeing you 8 a.m. on Friday. I'm doing well. What's new and exciting? Anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, please let me know. Otherwise, just let me know how your day is going. And let's give it a bit of time and let's see who joins. You might be there longer than I am. I mean, I can be there very, very quickly. But I look forward to seeing you when you arrive. It's just a chance for you guys to, meet the coffee club. There's a meeting happening that night, so but yeah, let's give it a bit of time. Once again, just come through the front. I'll meet you at 8. I'll make sure you get in the building. Bring your $2 for bottomless cup of coffee. And for now, we're just going to give it a bit of time. We're going to see who joins. Any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? Please let me know. I'm happy to kind of chat with you guys. When I have these 1 a.m. streams, I tend not to have any plans. Rather, it's just about just talking to people, seeing what they want to talk about, and thoughts they have on Freemasonry. I tend not to have any particular thoughts or plans for these 1 a.m. streams. It's just come on, see who wants to join. You'll be fine, Dream Seeker. Just come to the coffee club, say hello. You can leave when I leave if you want. It's not that hard. You just come and you give your $2 and you drink a cup of coffee. Oof, 12 a.m. Well, you should still get some sleep, Scruffy. You should still get yourself some sleep. But thank you for being here. What are they going to do to you? And we're just going to give it a bit of time and see who jumps on the chat to say hello. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, share, comment. I got some exciting things coming up soon, and I'll be making those announcements very shortly. So pay attention for those. Oh, Dream Seeker, you had your stream as well. Everybody make sure to follow Dream Seeker on his streams as well. And hit that like and subscribe button if you're here. I care. Well, I care about you. I care. Mike, is that Michael Myers? My channel is about Freemasonry. I talk about Freemasonry, any thoughts or opinions people have on it, positive, negative, or neutral. I do, Lewis, but for you, if you hit the like and subscribe button, you can get one for free. But you have to hit like and subscribe first, Lewis. Save yourself $3.50. So I care. What I care about is Freemasonry. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments on Freemasonry, please let me know. All right. Well, now you need to let me know where to send the bottled fart, because that's the other question, right? I can't just send it out to the ether. I need a particular place to send it. Well, Stephanie, welcome nonetheless. I agree. That's what I tell people. 10,045 subs, or one, no, sorry, 1,045. That's awesome. Very cool. What about the Knights Templar I care? They're part of Freemasonry. They're a concordant body or an appendix. They're a concordant body. Some would call them an appendant body. Um, Stephanie, please hit like and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. I know I look like Shrek. I'll take it because Shrek's a very handsome ogre. James Wigington, how's it going? I hope that you are doing well. I don't know if I'm real or not, Jason Shank. I like to think I'm real, but I could very well not be. Are any of us real? I think that's the bigger question. I don't have 1,045 bottles. Like how much do you think I'm stockpiling? Do you know how scary that would get? If those bottles were to fall, it would be a stinky, stinky mess. I hope I have layers, like an onion. I'll be on in about 12 hours at 1 p.m. I hope to see you then. Welcome back, Derek. How is it going? I don't even want to imagine my diet if I had 1,045 bottles of farts on the wall. I don't know. I have a giant nose, so I'm the worst person to talk to about how noses look. James, this channel is about Freemasonry. I've been a Freemason since 2007, and it's my favorite thing to talk about. So let me know if you have any questions about Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. If you say Heavenly Father, I care, and you mean Christian, then it's not. We have Freemasons who are of all different faiths and beliefs: Muslim, Jewish, First Nations, or Indigenous. I know some Wiccan, Wiccan, Hindu, Sikh, and Christians. Fellowcraft, okay, very cool. I've been a Master Mason. I joined in 2007, been a Master Mason since 2008. Welcome to the channel, Fellowcraft, James Wigington. Which jurisdiction are you from? But Supreme Being is not meant to be specific to a religion. Oliver, welcome. I think you're new to the stream. Or no, I think I've seen you before. Um, yeah, there are many Masons who are indigenous, Native Americans. One of the greatest strengths of Freemasonry is how it welcomes men of all different faiths and backgrounds and beliefs. Welcome, Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. Oh, Jason, the age-old question: to be one, ask one. What you need to do is find a Masonic lodge in your area and make contact with them and express an interest. Don't even express an interest in joining, just express an interest in learning more about them. Tecumseh, another great example. The best way to do it is, I find, send an email or write a letter. You can just walk up and knock on the door, but there's no guarantee they'll be available to speak to you. They might not be there, or they might be busy at that time. Well, Lewis, women can be Freemasons. There is the Order of Women Freemasons, which is located primarily in England, but is also located in Ontario. There's also Eastern Star, which is for men and women. And there's Rainbow, which is a youth group for women. So I do Aviation Squawk. I have a lot of ideas. Sadly, I have more ideas than I have subscribers. I'd like that to change. So please hit the like button and please hit the subscribe button. Mavro, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Derek, again, that's not quite the case. Order of Women Freemasons, as well as Eastern Star. And for young women, there's Rainbow. For young men, there's D. Molay. Godson, welcome. I'm a godfather myself. One of my proudest things is to be a godfather. Thank you, Kevin Bradley. Hit the like and subscribe button in honor of my jowl. An American Muscle. I got muscles too. Not as many as you, I'm sure. Please hit like and subscribe. I don't know, son of Sammy Davis. I do not know. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button. It's real. I got a big nose. What can I say? Uh, I like to think it's distinguishing. No, godson, we do not. I've been a Mason for 20 years. We do not commit crimes of any sort. Now, individual Masons, we have good ones and we have bad ones. It's human nature. If you are a Mason and you commit a crime, we're, instructed to contact the authorities. Luckily, I've never experienced that or seen that. But no. In fact, what Freemasons are taught is to be not only respectful of, but supportive of the laws of the country in which we reside. And so certainly every Freemason would be anti-murder and anti-killing. And we also do not drink blood. We do not do that either. Those are Shriners, Kevin, and they are part of Freemasonry. Shrine is an independent body within Freemasonry. To be a Shriner, you must first be a Freemason. It is not snowing yet in Canada, at least not where I am. Well, that's a heck of a picture you got there, Icelandic Viking. Being a Freemason, we are not anti-Semitic. We are not anti any religion or ethnicity. Freemasonry is an inclusive organization. I think that's one of its greatest strengths. Yes. Where are you? I've known a couple gay Freemasons. They're a great part of the craft. I've known probably 4 in my Masonic career. They're more than welcome. Actually, some of them, sometimes they bring their husbands to Masonic banquets and special events. So yes, you can join. I agree. It's been way too hot for October. Well, Derek, that is not the case. So the Knights Templar, I definitely do not believe that to be the case, James. I think you've been seeing too many videos on the History Channel with that. I mean, I've always taken the general belief with, the Friday the 13th and the Order from the King, the Knights Templar were mostly wiped out. Some did manage to escape. And eventually Freemasonry kind of brought back their ideas at a later date with the formation of the York Rite. It is more brotherhood than cult, not quite normal. Rob Densmore brings up the Shriners Hospitals, which is exactly right. We got a lot of people saying the word gay, which I don't take to be a slur. I think they may mean it that way, but there's nothing wrong. One of the best things about Freemasonry is it welcomes people of different sexual orientations, gay or straight. I think that's one of the best parts about Freemasonry is that it welcomes men of all different backgrounds, beliefs, religions, ethnicities, mother tongues, ages, occupations, sexual orientation. So you have Scottish Rite Masons in your family, Mavro? That's really cool. Oh, James, my dad read the Hiram Key. He loved it. I've read parts of it, but I don't buy it myself. Well, if there was a serial killer who was a Freemason, we would be obligated to turn him into the authorities. I've never met a serial killer Mason, at least that I know of. However, I suppose if they're really good at hiding their crimes and did not get found out, who knows? It's kind of like how some conspiracy theories think Jack the Ripper was a Freemason. I do not, but one of my favorite movies is From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. And in that movie, the implication was that Jack the Ripper was a Freemason. Well, then I would not get into your lodge because I have no legs. I can't run anywhere. Well, but we shouldn't be hiding things, right? We should not be hiding things, James. That's the point is we should keep our rituals private and our modes of recognition private. But when it comes to things such as things necessary for the good of society or the good of our communities, those should not be hidden, as we are taught in our obligations. But the modes of recognition should be kept private. I don't even like the term secret. I prefer the term private because so many people have a tendency to view the term secret with suspicion, but they're more understanding of privacy and why privacy is important and why privacy matters, right? Like, one thing I've noticed is people will say, it's wrong to keep secrets. And then I'll say, will you tell me your bank account information? And they'll say, well, that's not secret, that's private. And people tend to understand privacy better. I have no legs because I was born this way. I was born missing my legs, hence I'm in a wheelchair. Um, so there you go. Um, are Mormons Masons? So Mormons are not Freemasons. However, the Mormon Church was started by Joseph Smith, who was a Freemason. And I understand, I'm not a Freemason myself. Um, I understand that many Mormon kind of practices or structure of Mormonism developed kind of from Masonic kind of symbolism, but I couldn't say for sure. I'm not a Mormon myself. So Mormons are not Masons. A Mormon could be a Mason. They believe in a supreme being, but Mormonism did kind of borrow some of its structure from Freemasonry, but many groups did. In fact, the Future Farmers of America, the youth group that encourages farming amongst young men and women, was started by four Freemasons and actually developed or formed many of its structures based on Freemasonry. So I hope they do, Kevin, because I'm pretty fat right now myself. So I hope we make it upstairs, but I don't know for sure. Well, I joined Freemasonry in 2007. I became a Master Mason or third degree in 2008. It took me about 8 months to go through my 3 degrees altogether. And then I became a worshipful master for the first time in 2015. Um, well, I mean, again, this idea of, again, I tend to be hesitant to use the term secret, even the whole not a secret society with secrets. I tend to more discuss the need for privacy because people understand that better. The privacy helps us maintain the bonds of brotherhood between our fraternity, between our brotherhood, between our members, both past, present, and future. Dream Seeker is absolutely right. It depends on how seriously you take it. I mean, Grandmaster, no, that would be. Grandmasters are responsible for Freemasonry within an entire jurisdiction. Um, most worshipfuls. That takes decades and decades. Usually you're in your 50s or 60s or 70s before you're looking at that. But I have been a worshipful master. I'm currently a worshipful master, actually, and been one several times. To everybody joining, independent, please hit like and subscribe. Freemasonry is neither gay nor demonic. It is not a sexual preference, nor is it a religion of any sort, nor is it demonic. Having said that, though, independent, let me know why you think that, and I still hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. Yes, it is, he says. No, it's not, I say. What is a worshipful master, Christina? A worshipful master is somebody who's responsible for the governance and the kind of operations of a Masonic lodge. A little bit like a CEO of a lodge. He's elected usually for a year term, though he can last longer. And he's basically a CEO. He's responsible for the governance of the lodge, making sure all the rules and orders and procedures are followed necessary to make a lodge function appropriately. I talk a lot for anyone, whether it be gay, demon, or otherwise. I talk a lot. Marantha, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Guy says hello. Hello, Guy. Thank you for being here. Respect and kindness does go a long way. How does the serving my Redeemer, welcome serving, how does the Bible, in capitals, play into Masonic teachings and practices? Oh my gosh, that's a question and a half. It's not easy, not quite normal. So within Freemasonry, we have what's called a volume of the sacred law. It is open at the start of meetings. Oftentimes, by default, it is a Bible because that is the volume of the sacred law that most Masons are familiar with. on some level. However, it can also be a Quran, it can be a Torah. In Israel, they actually have all three books on the altar at any given point. They'll have a Torah, a Quran, and a Bible. There are biblical stories that are part of Masonic rituals. Freemasonry and our rituals borrowed greatly from biblical stories, especially stories related to stonemasonry and stonemasons when developing rituals. However, we also borrowed from Judaism, Islam, Stoic philosophy, Egyptian mythology. Right? Freemasonry is not a religion, it's not a Christian organization, but the Bible would be considered a volume of sacred law. And for many, it is their volume of the sacred law, and the supreme being to which they believe would be a Christian supreme being would be Jesus. And certainly, King Solomon is a very important figure within Freemasonry. King Solomon's Temple is an important building and metaphor within Freemasonry. Yeah. Um, when you say, why is a book necessary? I wouldn't say it's a group of people agreeing on moral codes. It's a it's a group of, well, there could be women as well, the Order of Women Freemasons, but I'll use the men example for now. It's a fraternity, a group of men choosing to create bonds of brotherhood with each other, all of whom may have different ideas about the supreme being. A volume of sacred law is necessary because when you become a Freemason, you have to take certain obligations. And the idea is those obligations will mean more if they're taken on a book that to you represents the supreme being or will touch your conscience in some way. In the same way, from going to court, you need to swear on a Bible or a Quran or a Torah. Even though in theory you could just tell the judge, I swear I'll tell the truth, by taking an obligation on a volume of sacred law or on a holy book, it makes it, the belief is it will better engage your consciousness and remind you of the importance of the obligation you're taking. But again, it does not need to be a Bible. I have seen people take an obligation on the Quran, on the Torah. I've even seen an eagle feather used for indigenous brethren. Um, you do not get a sword, Kevin Bradley. There are sometimes swords historically in Freemasonry, but you don't get to keep it. You don't get to keep it yourself unless you get one as a gift. Um, Job's Daughters are a youth group. They're, to my knowledge, they no longer exist in Canada because the numbers got so low, but I believe they still exist in many locations in the States. I think growing up, my mom was actually a Job's daughter. Um, you should get a hammer. I think you should get a stonemason's hammer as a way to honor our stonemason forefathers. Um, oh, independent. I got to disagree with you on everything you said there, but I'm still happy that you're here. Freemasons ain't running anything. BGF. I am not. I I guess Anglican, but I don't really necessarily have any faith per se. I believe in a supreme being, but I'm very wary of religions and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't really go to church. But I grew up Anglican. Um, we do community outreach. It depends on the lodge and what the lodge wants to do. Each lodge kind of decides for itself how much it wants to do in terms of charitable efforts, charitable giving, community outreach. I personally really, really focus on community outreach. I think the key for Masons and Masonic long-term survival is the extent to which we are um, relevant in our communities. For that to take place, we need to have community outreach. So I 100% try to focus on that. But each Masonic lodge will decide for itself how much community outreach it wants to do. Shriners Hospital is a great example of Masonic outreach. The shrine is a appendant body of Freemasonry. So James, again, many Freemasons have many different ideas as to who their supreme being is, and we are respectful of them all. At least I am. Um, Thank you, Christina. That's very kind of you. Three of my greatest realized benefits. I try honestly, Rob, and thank you for being here, not to think in terms of the way Freemasonry has benefited me. I try to think about the way I can use Freemasonry to benefit others and the privileged position I'm in to benefit others. I would say my greatest realized benefit is how privileged I am as part of Freemasonry to be in a position to help others around me by knowing about, for example, where there may be benevolent funds or charitable efforts. If a brother loses his home to a fire, knock on wood, or anything else, I can get him in touch with people who can, put him up in their home. Um, I can be there for brother if he gets sick or if he has something to celebrate. If he has a kid, I can be there at the hospital after the kid's born with a gift basket. There's a lot of different ways I've been privileged to help people by being a Freemason. Yes, the hoot, Freemasonry, exclamation point, question mark. Um, well, I am not a drunk or a drug head. At least I don't think I am. I never had a drink in my life, for whatever it's worth. And independent, it is not wicked and evil, uh, though you can think so if you so choose. Um, yes, Shriners are Freemasons. To be a Shriner, you must first be a Freemason. Not every Mason is a Shriner, but every Shriner is a Freemason. I agree. Why is everybody trying to fight me? Just out here living my life, chatting on YouTube at 1:40 in the morning. Um, we do not worship Satan, independent. I think someone has been reading too much Albert Pike and not understanding Albert Pike. Thank you, Terry. I used to say I've never done any substances, but that's honestly not true. I definitely have a problem with caffeine, which is a substance. And also, I take medication as prescribed. I always like to say, though, because I think there's a danger when people think about substance abuse problems, they think about drugs and alcohol. But if it's something that's prescribed or something they can get over the counter or something like caffeine, which is ubiquitous, they think it's not a big deal. And the reason I always say I actually do consume substances is so people understand that even if something's prescribed by your doctor or you can buy it, over the counter, that doesn't mean there can't be problems associated with it. And you need to always be careful and talk to your doctor, and not imagine problems can't develop just because something is prescribed. You need to recognize there's always risks. That means listen to your doctor, but talk to your doctor and make sure you always talk to your doctor about any concerns that you may have. But never had a drink, never done any illicit substances. Um, the Yahoot, how do you get in? To be one, ask one. You need to find a Masonic lodge within your area and speak to them about why you want to join, what you find interesting, why you want to get in, and you go from there. Yes, Christina, that's what I love about Freemasonry too. So that's awesome. I think you and I are on the same page in what we both really love about Freemasonry, or at least what I love about it. And it seems like you find the same thing. Thank you, Stryker. I really wish I knew more about Freemasonry in Australia. It's on my list of things I want to learn more about. Thank you, though, for being here. I hope that you're doing well. And thank you for hitting the like button. I'm actually 2 likes away from 2,700 subs, so I hope maybe you'll consider subbing as well. Oh, then you will be a definite good fit, because oftentimes you have to set up a lodge. That includes sometimes setting up folding chairs. Well, unfortunately, on the internet, a lot of people think that way. Um, but that's why I'm happy to have this stream and try to give the positive sides of Freemasonry and why I love it so much. Um, yeah, I mean, you're not completely wrong. You're pretty much on the right track, Rob. What I would add to it though is it's much more focused on lifelong commitment as opposed to college, which is obviously for the length of the college. You're more committed to it. Beyond that, you're not completely wrong. Um, you have to ask your lodge about that. Most times they recommend not getting your ring until you get your third degree. I got mine from my father several years ago. So there you go. No, people do love to comment on the ring. I always tell people though, don't assume just because someone's wearing a ring, they're automatically a Freemason. That's not how it works. You can buy those rings. There's no rule that says you need to be a Freemason to purchase and wear one of those rings. Almost anybody can purchase or buy those rings. My coins just fell. If you heard that sound, that was my Masonic coins. Like, what's this one? This was ancient accepted Scottish Rite, Northern Masonic jurisdiction. This is a cool one. This is from Texas. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Striker Van. I would agree with that 100%. There you go, not quite normal. That's a big part of it as well. Welcome, Carrie Metz. That is not the case, but I thank you for being here nonetheless. I do these streams, by the way, every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m., and then I often do interviews on the weekend and podcast episodes on the weekend. And then I got my social media, I got my Patreon, I've got my Medium channel, my written work. I hope you guys will check all of that stuff out. I think government can be a solution, but also can be one Eastern Standard Time. Well, in some ways, yes, Rob, but I think it's a little bit more like, how do I put this in a way that makes sense? The way I always say it is the things you love choose you. I just like the way Freemasonry sounds. So my favorite song in the world is "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. My second favorite song is "Prodigal" by Blacktop Mojo. I always mention my second favorite song because I think Blacktop Mojo needs way more love than it gets day to day. So look them up online. Anyways, Rob, you and I can both hear the same song. We can both hear "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. And I may love it, think it's the greatest song ever. You may hear it and think it's just okay, or maybe not even like it. At the end of the day, we're both hearing the exact same thing, but we are having a different reaction to it. And that's based on our history, our preferences, our personality, maybe what's happening in our life when we happen to hear that song. Freemasonry is the same way. It's not so much I was craving anything in the same way I wasn't craving a favorite song when I heard "Simple Man." It's just there's something unique about Freemasonry, or not even, there's something unique about me that responded to Freemasonry in a very positive way and made me want to be a part of it. Um, Whereas others may not. So I wasn't craving it, rather the thing I love just found me. It's a bit like falling in love, right? You don't crave to fall in love. It just happens. You don't choose to do it. It just happens. And whether it be finding your favorite song, finding your favorite place, finding your favorite movie, or finding the thing that you want to kind of dedicate yourself to, it chooses you. Whether you crave it or not is kind of irrelevant. Carrie Metz, devil worship, devil worship, devil worship. Reminds me of Taskmaster when they say, outrageous, outrageous, outrageous. So the extent to which the wives are involved in Freemasonry is really up to them. There are some lodges that have women's auxiliaries, some have ladies' nights for women. Sometimes they'll have banquets celebrating, the wives or girlfriends, or both of the Masons. There's also the Eastern Star, which is specifically for the wives of Freemasons, and was, other women in their life. There's also Order of Women Freemasons. So he didn't deny it. I did not deny it because I feel like my actions should be a sufficient denial to demonstrate that we do not worship the devil. But people are going to believe what they're going to believe. All I can do is try to demonstrate that I live my life in a certain manner, and hopefully that others can recognize that I'm not worshiping anyone, devil or otherwise, except the supreme being as I understand it, which is definitely not the devil. Um, but I think one thing we need to do in Freemasonry is have a greater role for families altogether. We are not. I wish we were in some ways serving my Redeemer because it would mean that we were more powerful and more strong than we actually are. But Freemasonry really is not involved in the politics of 2025. Um, and reverse image, Baphomet is not the Freemason God. There is no Freemason God, right? That's not how it works. Each Freemason develops his own understanding of a supreme being. It could be based on their culture, their family, how they grew up. It could be based on their own journey and their own understanding and coming to an understanding of the supreme being and God and what it is. So, no, Vape King, it is not, but there you go. A lot of people feel that way, Christina, and that's fair. I think my response to that would be, I don't believe in separating men and women spaces per se. I believe times, right? I believe there are times when it's helpful for men to get together with other men, like a boys' night out, and there's times when it's helpful for women to get together with women exclusively. I think both of those have value. And throughout history, you've seen in every culture some spaces or sometimes that were, guys' nights out, exclusive for men, and some that were exclusive for women. But I do think we in Freemasonry have not done enough to support our brethren in the Order of Women Freemasons and Eastern Star, without question. No, that makes sense, Rob. I don't think I was missing those people in my life. I think, but Freemasonry formalizes those structures and makes it more readily available and puts you in a more privileged position to help, right? Because, I mean, I have 56 lodge members. How many people have 56 friends, or 56 brothers? Um, no, Christina's great. I love Christina's questions very much and appreciate it very much. We have the hearts. That usually means Smokey the Clown is in the house or in the chat. I hope he's doing well. And thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to give it a bit more time. I do these streams for just about an hour or so. I tend not do them for too long, the 1 a.m. streams. The 1 p.m. streams are much longer usually. But thank you all for joining. Let's give it a bit more time. Let's see who joins. As always, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. And any thoughts you have about Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. I don't know what 28. Oh, well, I don't know if he is or not, but what if he was? What would be the big deal? He's welcome on the stream. Thank you, Not Quite Normal. I'm working on it. I've actually got some exciting news about my growth within the channel. And believe me, I'll be seeing that soon. If you guys want to help me grow, obviously like, comment, share the stream. Follow me on Patreon. Follow me on my other social media channels. All that good stuff helps out majorly. And so thank you so much for that. Oh, very funny, Stable. Please hit like and subscribe, Stable, though. Um, I mean, that's a very sensible belief, Christina. I don't know if I quite believe it. Having said that, I'm also single, so what do I know? I think there's room for both, but I would be hesitant to view a married couple as one entity. I think they're two people sharing kind of a life, but I do think their own spaces are also necessary. I mean, I've never been married. I have no clue, but I would find it challenging to be married if I was expected to share the entirety of my space in life with someone else. That would be hard for me. But maybe I would actually really enjoy it. Maybe it's just my own kind of personality is that way. Who knows? Yeah, if you don't have your own things and time apart, I tend to agree with that. But we want to make sure we're being supportive of um, the wives and the girlfriends and the not just and the families in general, right? That's why one thing we always, suggest is when you have somebody applying to be a Freemason, don't just speak to them. Try to take time to speak to their wife or their friends or their girlfriend or the people in their life that may be affected by that decision. Because if he becomes a Freemason, if the application is successful and he's spending time outside of lodge, or sorry, outside of the family home to go to lodge, um, that will affect potentially his relationship. You need to take that into account and speak to their wife about any concerns the wife may have, which I think is completely fair. It's hard to be, I mean, it's hard for me to be too specific, Rob, because I mean, I don't know kind of precisely. Again, I can't really explain what it is I love about Freemasonry. I mean, I love the fact that it welcomes men of different faiths. I love the fact that it's one of the few places where it's possible to create things with people who have different political beliefs and religious beliefs. I love the history of it. I love the fact that my grandfather was a Freemason. But what I love about it is not what you may love about it if you were to join, right? And so I'm always hesitant because I don't want to color somebody else's kind of views on Freemasonry based upon how I'm feeling or the way I responded to it. It's even when people ask me, like, what do Freemasons do? It's very hard for me to say. Like, we care about the community. We have our administrative meetings, our our rituals, our degree nights. You kind of got to join. Yes, I am a Freemason guy, but no worries, Rob. I still appreciate you being here. Fact, I try to be ethical. I don't know if I always succeed, but I try my best to be as ethical as I can be. The Fat Muppet, not too fat, I'm sure. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Let me know how it's going. If you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. And we're going to give it a bit more time. We're going to see who else joins. No rush. I agree with that, Rob. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Because if you go online, Lucas Experiencia, you will find all the secrets. Now, you're not going to know which secrets are legitimate and which secrets are lies unless you join yourself. But nothing will happen. It happens all the time, for better or worse. Um, they may, if they get really mad at you, kick you out of Freemasonry, but even that's pretty rare, to be honest. Dimitri, well, probably because the Masonic Lodge had scholarships. Some Masonic lodges, as a form of community outreach, community support, pick your term, will give out um, scholarships. and they'll award the scholarships at the ceremony. We've done that not for high school, but for college graduations. Not even for college graduations, but for college award ceremonies. Freemasons have given out awards, um, to celebrate the success of the students and to give them some money to help them in their Masonic or their educational efforts. Lucas, please hit like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Um, oh, sorry, Dimitri, please hit like and subscribe. I'm not going to tell you whether there's a ritual involving a blindfold and a knife. For that, you got to join. What I will say is I never felt at any point unsafe or felt that a ritual or Masonic ceremony was in any way unsafe, nor did I ever feel as though it was in violation of any oaths, of any civic, moral, or religious or family responsibilities. Beyond that, every Masonic ceremony conveys a lesson, an important lesson. Thank you, Rob Ott. You don't have to get invited. In fact, Freemasonry is somewhat opposed to invitations. You need to approach them. To be one, ask one. So you need to take the first steps and approach them. After you approach them and after they get to know you and talk to you and learn more about you and why you want to join, they do need to give you an application. And as part of that, you need two sponsors. You can even get more than two, but you need at least two people to sponsor you within the application process. But it's not about being invited. You need to be the one to approach them first. So I hope that made sense. But the two people is two sponsors. Thank you, by the way, for being here, Lucas. Did you just come across the stream? Were you searching for it? Were you looking for information about Freemasonry? What made you come across our stream? But thank you so much for being here at Square and Compass Promotions. I truly appreciate it. Well, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. And I do these streams regularly. Sorry, Gray, Gimli, not the case. Not the case. It has to be by two members of the lodge. Now, if you know Masons who are willing to vouch for you and they, let's say, live outside of the lodge, they can write a letter of support to the lodge about you, or you can mention their name and they can be contacted. But the sponsors have to be in the lodge itself. When you say four elements, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I assume earth, air, fire, and water. I mean, for me, the purpose of ritual has always been, even like whether it's Masonic rituals or otherwise, the purpose of ritual is to create bonds of brotherhood or bonds of friendship through shared experiences. I've always thought that's the main purpose of ritual, even going back to Egyptian mysticism, as well as based on the bicameral mind theory, the idea of, oh my God, I dropped all my coins. The idea of kind of making contact with the divine through ritual experiences. I write about it actually in Medium. There is no incense within any rituals I've seen thus far. Well, sometimes Masons, it feels like it. It feels like I live at the lodge. I'm there all the time, but usually not. Usually, there have been examples though where some Masonic buildings have a granny suite on the top floor for Masons to live there, especially if they're like a caretaker of the building. Not an author RS, but I am on Medium. I'll leave you a link to find my written work, and I hope that you'll follow me there. How long does it take me for a master mason? Well, first you need to be an entered apprentice, then you need to be a fellow craft. For me, it took about 6 months from the time I joined to the time I became a master mason. However, um, it can be relatively quicker. There's usually a 3 month or 1 month minimum wait between each degree. No, we don't have a beef with them. We Templars are part of the Masonic order. It came much later, but they're part of the Knights. Knights Templar are part of the York Rite. So no beef. I'm a vegetarian, man. I got no beef with anybody. Or you can tell those Templars I'm a vegetarian because I don't want no beef with them. Um, Don, I don't believe that. One thing about Freemasonry is we're understood not to be revilers of religion, whether it be Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Wiccan, Hindu, Indigenous. I will never say such a thing, Don. I think we should be supportive of the proper application of religious understandings. Having said that, Don, please hit like and subscribe because I'm one. Oh, there we go. I made it. 2,700 subs. Thank you so much to everybody. I don't know if you guys heard, but all my coins fell. I got some pretty incredible coins. That's from Ohio. This is from Texas. What else do I got? This is from Missouri. This is from the Heritage Museum, where we have a Masonic building. It depends on what the purpose of the meeting is, Lucas. If the meeting is for an administrative purposes, it's very boring. We are reading correspondence, minutes, our budgets, events we have coming up, events planning coming up. Do we have a banquet coming up? Are any brothers ill or sick? If it's a degree night, then we're performing a ritual to bring a Mason, to bring a member through the Masonic Lodge. So, yeah, it depends. And then there's also banquets and celebrations and special nights and special events. All of that stuff is really important. So it depends on the meeting. You're not wrong, RS. I got to work on that. You're absolutely are correct. I need to work on that. This is from Cameron Bailey out of Washington State. I'm both crazy. I'm pretty and loco too. Oh, I lost the, there we go. Lost the zoom there, the focus for a second. Burdish, please hit like and subscribe. This is a very important Masonic symbol. It's the plate, which if you join, you'll know what that means. From the first degree. My gosh. I'll show you guys some of my favorite coins. Oriental Lodge out of Chicago. I think this coin is absolutely beautiful. By the way, I'm 1 like away from 2,700 likes. So I hope you guys will be cool and consider hitting that subscribe button, I should say. So the Fat Muppet, to be a Freemason, you need to be over a certain age. Usually in the States, it's 18. In Canada, it's often 21. You need to believe in a supreme being, but the nature of that supreme being is up to you. And you oftentimes need to live within the jurisdiction for a set period of time, but it depends. So if you want to become a Mason in Ontario, you need to live in Ontario for at least a year. And to join the fraternal side of Freemasonry, you need to be a man. No, there's no cutoff age. Again, you need to be at least, so in Texas, for example, in most places in the States, you need to be at least 18 to join, but you can be 120 and join. So there you go. We used to be linked with the Illuminati in that the person who founded the Illuminati was a Freemason who left Freemasonry because he had disputes with the order. But then conspiracy theorists went wild with it and started saying that we were all Illuminati, and the conspiracy theorists ran away with it. In 2025, there is no connection between us and the Illuminati. Temperance. Um, Lucas, the lesson of temperance is a very important lesson within Freemasonry. And we do, in fact, accept homosexuals. I know a few homosexual Freemasons. Well, so there's Eastern Star, which is for men and women. There's also co-masonry, which is recognized in different parts of the world. Um, so there you go. What disputes? Well, he started Illuminati because A, he found Freemasonry too expensive, but also he thought Freemasonry was not focused enough on esoteric rituals, and he was big on that. But I mean, it died out. Illuminati died out by the early 19th century. Not at all. I mean, I know people who joined Freemasonry when they were 70. So, 26 is not too late at all. The Illuminati were formed in 1777 by a gentleman named Adam Weishaupt, who was a former Mason. He started it because he found Masonry too expensive and he wanted to focus more on esoteric rituals and kind of mysticism. I don't know a ton about the actual Illuminati rituals, but it was separate from Freemasonry. There were overlaps because some men joined both, but it died out by the early 19th century. Um, do Masons? I don't know what the rainbow flag efforts mean. I guess you'd have to ask each individual Freemason. I never heard any Freemason bring up rainbow flags one way or another. I can say, me personally, I support LGBTQ rights, and I'm concerned about some of the way that LGBT people, specifically T people, are being treated right now. Um, but that's my personal view. That's not a reflection on Masonic views, where each Mason has to make up his own mind about that. But I don't know what you mean by rainbow flag efforts. I support the efforts of any group that wants to find equal rights for themselves. Jan class or Jan class? Well, good for you. I mean, again, I ain't no vegetarian. Or sorry, you can say I'm a vegetarian because I don't want no beef with them, including no beef with you, Jan. Thank you for being here, though. Please hit like and subscribe button. We do not attack organizations in secret, nor do we attack organizations in public. Our purpose is not to attack anyone or any organization. And me personally, I think it'd be incredibly counterproductive to attack anyone. I think there's plenty of sand in the sandbox. I think we as Freemasons have a responsibility to support anyone who is trying to make use of civic engagement or civic/civil spaces. But thank you everybody for joining. I'll be ending this stream relatively soon. But it's been great. It's wonderful to have so many people joining me as we go on. I truly appreciate that. Depends what part of Europe. As a general rule, yes. There are, some areas where it's a little bit more expensive, a little bit less expensive. If you're in United Grand Lodge of England, so England, France, fairly, fairly simple. Like everything, though, take your time, right? If you go to a Masonic Lodge on Monday and they give you an application on Tuesday, that's too soon. Don't approach them with the goal of joining. Just approach them with the desire to learn more about Freemasonry. Okay, I think it should be fairly straightforward. You just contact the local Masonic Lodge, ask them if they can explain to you kind of what Grand Lodge are associated with, But then just talk to them about Freemasonry, what you find interesting in it. I am a brokey, but you can help me, Green Hub, by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and following me on Patreon. You cooked that stir fry, not quite normal, and thank you for being here as always. Um, there you go, RS, and thank you for that. That's very kind. I, I mean, I love pork. I also love beef. I love food. My favorite type of food though is seafood. Oysters are, in my opinion, the best type of food. All right, sounds good. Hinduism, as in, are you talking about me? I don't think Hinduism has anything to do with oysters. Are you talking about Yan? Oh, I was joking, Jan. I said um, I'm a vegetarian because I don't want no beef with them, which is actually a song. It's a great song too, or a great line for a song. Too evil to hope. I'm not Mormon. I am a Freemason, which is not a religion. It's not Mormonism nor anything else. Too evil to hope. I'm gonna hope that you will hit the like and subscribe button, though. I would truly appreciate that. I am not a Scientologist either. Freemasonry is not Scientology. Freemasonry, again, is not a religion of any sort. It is a civic organization. You can, but not like let's say, not at a greater number than probably outside of Freemasonry necessarily. But a cult just means hidden, right? So it's only been in recent, probably decades, it's taken on kind of more sinister tones in some ways. Well, there's Freemasonry and then there's operative or stonemasonry. I'm the Freemasonry type. So you have to pay to join Freemasonry as well. You have to pay dues. But, you know, it's a different thing than what we're talking about. Depends on which lodge you're joining, Lucas. They all set their own prices and their own dues prices, usually based on how expensive it is where they're located. I know some that are as inexpensive as $40 per year to some dues that are as much as 500 per year, and sometimes more. I'm a member of five Masonic lodges, so I pay about $500 per year in dues, give or take. I know Randall Carson. I mean, I don't know him, but I know of him. I've seen his work. It's great. I really enjoy it. And I appreciate his support of Freemasonry very much. We're going to give it a bit more time. We're just going to see who joins. I'm one subscription away from 2,700 subs. I got there and then it was taken away from me by YouTube. So it's not too late. Hit the like and subscribe button. Help me get to 2,700 subs. I would very much appreciate it. And thank you everybody who's joined so far. We'll be back on at 1 p.m. And at that point, we're going to talk more about I have a few different topics I want to discuss, but probably what we have coming up that I'm most excited about. Give it a bit more time to see if anybody else jumps on to say hello quickly. Again, before we will end this stream. Who are the Freemasons? The Freemasons are anybody who belongs to a Masonic lodge. Um, the Masonic lodges are civic and social groups that evolved from stonemason guilds of the 15th century. Sean, when you say aligned with an enemy, what makes you think that we as Freemasons are aligned with enemies? I would not consider myself to be aligned with an enemy of you or of anybody. And having said that, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button, by the way. I mean, I don't know when you say aware of, some maybe, some like I don't know personally of any satanic orders. I'm not aware of any, but I don't really research it or study it. There may be some Masons who are aware of them or who've studied them, but it's not really something that's ever came up or been brought up at any of my meetings, or even discussions with Freemasons. So I would say not, as a general rule, it's certainly not something we're thinking of, one way or the other. Um, I'm just giving this a couple more minutes, but I think I will be ending the stream very shortly, I think. And I'll be back in, like I said, about 12, less than that, about 13, 11 hours, give or take. So I think it is cool also. Thank you, Christina. That's very kind of you. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody is having an excellent day, a great night. Hope to see you all tomorrow. He should be, but my favorite author is Stephen King. Recently, I saw The Long Walk, an amazing movie, made me cry. And I think that it actually touched on some really interesting Masonic themes. Well, there you go, Icelandic Viking. Not a big fan of your picture or liking exclusivity, but hey, you're still welcome to be part of the stream. Thank you, High Altitude. And how's it going with you? It seems like your streams are going pretty well. They pop up every now and then for me on YouTube. Everything going well for you? I'm still streaming every day. I've also written some more content and published some more stuff on Medium, so make sure to check those out as well. Honestly, Fat Muppet, you'd think it would be, but I would say it's probably National Treasure is more the favorite, or even Stonecutters, and Homer the Great. But I like Da Vinci Code. Actually, The Lost Symbol is the book that Dan Brown wrote that is most related to Freemasonry, on an interesting side note. National Treasure is a great one. Well, I appreciate that, Icelandic Viking. Well, I've got proof that it happened. Maybe. Got to find it now. See this coin right there? What more proof do you need? I'm also a member of Tranquility Lodge number 2000, which meets on the moon, theoretically. So if the moon landing was fake, then I got to get my money back. Akuma says, Well, whatever. So you and me are on the same page, high altitude. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those conspiracy theories, but what can you do? They exist everywhere, even in Freemasonry. Well, that's okay. I appreciate the change of the picture. That looks more like one of those, like I've seen that in some Eastern temples. So I'll take that. Just like a crusader. I'll take that as a compliment. I mean, assume because crusader is big and strong. I'll take that as I know. I think. I mean, I blame social media. I know it's cringe to do that, but I do blame social media. But I'm glad you guys had a good lodge night, and I'm glad it was a lot of fun. I'll be ending this stream soon. I will be back tomorrow, though, or today, technically, at 1 p.m. And then I got a lot of really exciting announcements coming up very soon. So pay attention for all of those. Um, and thank you so much, everybody, for joining. People need to find things to doubt and to question, I think, gives them a sense of purpose, which is unfortunate that that is the case, but that is the case. But all right, guys, thank you. You as well, high altitude, thank you for being here. I have no idea. I can't see what that is exactly, but I mean, Icelandic, you can have whatever picture you want. Don't worry about it. As always, I'm just happy that you're here and we can discuss Freemasonry and our differences. All right, guys, thank you though so much. I gotta get some sleep at some point. I will be back on in about 13 hours, give or take. All right, talk to you later. Bye.